because we're here at Notre Dame and we try to very constantly look at this from a Christian perspective as well, and to say, how do we look at what Jesus most valued? How do we look at our lives in light of the gospel, and how does that relate to finding meaning? So in your experience, and I know you're working in different contexts, yours has an explicitly kind of religious focus, but you're also dealing with people of other faiths, and whereas people coming from business may have that or they may not have that. But in your experience, what are some of the central values of the gospel that help people find meaning in their lives?
Well, I'll start. I think one of them clearly is faith. And I think work is a wonderful place where we can put our faith into action. We spend so much time in our work pursuits. We put our energy, we invest ourselves, we're committed, we're seeking to make those deep contributions. And so faith can really help us hang on to our hope. When things are going well, it's easy to come by. When things are not going well, sometimes we have to really dig deep to hang on to our faith and to trust that God's plan can be better than anything we envisioned and mapped out for ourselves. So a friend of mine had said, if your faith is not at work, your faith is not at work. And so that's something to be mindful of.
What happens, if we stay with this for a moment, Sharon, what happens when your own personal values conflict with the values of, say, a company that you're working with?
Yes, it's a real problem that I think many, if not most people, struggle with. So once you have the clarity of what your individual personal values are, then you need to take a look at your organization's values. And you need to see, are those in alignment? Is there harmony? Does that free me up to do my best work, to make my deepest contributions? Or am I investing my energy into making a force fit between my personal value and the organization's values? If it is that force fit, I can all but guarantee that energy is being misspent.
So what does faith look like in that context? You said it's central, it's important. But what does it look like as it's lived out?
As people do that introspection and that examination, they say, you know what, the alignment is not there. Then I think another value comes into play, and that is courage. Having the courage of your convictions to make that change or to follow that path or that journey, wherever that may lead you, whether it's finding a way to work within that organization that may not be mirroring back you and supporting your values, or if it means you need to find another professional pursuit.
So faith and courage are two you'd highlight. How about you, Dominic?
I think the value I'd focus on as well would be how can I be the most loving person I can, and how can I help relieve suffering? Looking at that side of Jesus' ministry, whatever you're doing, thinking, how can I love people? How can I relieve suffering? We used to have this big argument in ministry class about, is a welder a minister? And that used to get me pretty hot, because I know a lot of people who are welders, farmers, people that you wouldn't expect to be doing, quote, contributing to in the same ways as helping professions. But I've met people who in those professions are, the bottom line is, do you see what you're doing as contributing to humanity? And if you do, then you are in a helping profession. That's the way I look at it. Because we've certainly seen people who are, quote, in the helping professions who really didn't care about people. And we've seen people who are doing things that we thought, well, that doesn't really do anything. They end up touching people more than you can possibly imagine.